Welcome to the Green Wasp Removal YouTube channel. This episode is part 2 of a new long-form series we're starting in the 2023 wasp season about an invasive species of paper wasp called Polistes Dominula, or European Paper Wasp. Polistes Dominula are considered invasive here in upstate Indiana, USA, where they were introduced a few decades ago. We collected 3 nests from the trailer outside a local business, and we brought them into captivity in our research lab. Part 2 covers June 4th through June 9th, 2023. Here on June 4th, we had so far recovered only 1 nest and 2 foundresses from the trailer. We went back and recovered 2 other nests later. You'll see that in upcoming parts of this series. We had put this particular nest into a habitat that already had over 20 different Polistes Dominula wasps in it. Most of these were foundress queens that we had captured in the springtime while they were out trying to set up nests. So we were very interested to see how many of these other foundress wasps may adopt this nest, and who would be alpha and who would be beta, or if they would just attack the nest and eat the larvae and the eggs. It's always interesting to watch how a eusocial colony forms up around a nest that gets relocated into captivity. The good news was, clearly the foundresses decided to continue maintaining this nest, and that's not always the case when we do relocations. You never quite know if the foundresses will reestablish a connection with the nest that we move. So as you can see here, by June 5th, we had several wasps who had decided to make this nest their home. Looks like 4 of them here so far. And we believe the one that's the most active and appears to be the alpha, she's probably the original foundress who built this nest. The other wasps on the nest have taken on the role of the beta subordinates. And it's always good to see when the foundress comes back to a nest that's been relocated anywhere, especially into captivity, if she continues to maintain it and do trophallaxis with the larva and create kind of a normal looking routine and goes about her business. It's always a good sign. As we moved into June 8th, the nest seemed to be doing fine. We had not yet begun to provide any protein for this nest. We wanted to see how the nest would respond to just the environment without food introduced yet. There's food for the adult wasps that are already in the nest, which is honey, and there's water in the nest so they don't dehydrate. But typically when there's larvae alive in a nest, they're going to need protein. So you have to either put in insects or you have to put in some other type of meat product to let them feed the larva. Initially, we were just going to raise the pupa under the silk caps in this nest, but we later changed that and began to feed the larvae to see if we could get them into pupation. Several of the larvae ultimately did go into pupation. Here you can see some of the pupating wasps moving around under their silk caps. If you look at the one in the red circle here, it's pretty active under there. And you can see how the body of the pupa is still kind of pale white, cream colored. That will soon change to black and yellow as it becomes more and more of an adult wasp inside that cell. And you'll see that transition over the next couple of days. This angle also gives us a good chance to compare the different life stages of the larva. You'll notice over to the right, you're going to see a very tiny little pink larva. That's one of the youngest larvae in the nest, and that one is considered an immature larva. Still has a ways to go before it pupates, whereas the ones at the top right of the frame are quite mature larvae, and you'll see them start to weave their silk caps pretty soon. And the one down at the bottom right, it's kind of a clear color compared to the pink or the cream colored ones. That one's sort of in between the pink stage and the more mature stage. So it's interesting to see these different life stages here in the same nest. Over the next couple of minutes, we'll just let you observe this nest. Watch the queen foundress go about her business, doing trophallaxis, dipping her head into the cells, doing mouth-to-mouth exchange of fluids and nutrients. Watch the larva moving, waiting to be fed. Watch some of the subordinates just standing by. We're shooting from outside the glass habitat. So unfortunately, sometimes there's some debris on the glass in the way of the shot, or some cloudiness. You have to shoot around. And the sounds you're going to hear are not being made by the wasps, because we can't hear them as well from outside the glass. You're just hearing the manipulation of the camera. We're going to drop in a little music track here just as an audio marker, so you know where audio is and is not. As we move into June 9th of 2023, the whole nest is still surviving and doing well. Here you'll notice a significant color change. For the pupa, with part of its silk cap already gone, it now appears to be black. Only a day or so ago, still a bit cream colored, but the changes are coming. It's becoming much closer to an adult wasp now, and we can begin to see that adult color underneath the silk cap. So as of June 9th, this nest was doing fine. It was adopted by a couple of the supportive wasps in the habitat, and the foundress who originally started the nest had reestablished contact with it and began to maintain it normally. There's nectar in the nest, there's eggs, there's larvae. So far so good. Stay tuned for part 3. Thanks for watching.